Welcome to another episode of Healthy Teaching Kitchen at Home. I'm your host, Billy Smith, registered dietitian from the West Palm Beach VA healthcare system. Since fall is approaching this week, we're diving deep into the heart of the Midwest to bring you a delicious one-pot meal prepared using an Instapot. For those of you on a budget, you're in for a real treat as we whip up a great dish like turkey tomato hot dish. So grab your aprons and let's get cooking the Midwestern way. Today I'm going to be using a non-traditional chickpea pasta. It has lots of fiber, protein. All you need is 4 to 6 quarts of water, and bring your water to a boil and add your pasta. Boil your pasta for about 5 to 7 minutes, and for the sake of time, I have ours here ready to go. So you can either use a crock pot or an Instapot, and all you have to do is press sauté, let it warm up, and then you can begin adding your onions in your ground turkey. I just used a sweet onion. You can use whatever you have in your refrigerator. And I also have here chopped fresh garlic. I like to use fresh garlic because it has a very powerful antioxidant in it called allicin. Allicin is activated the moment the garlic is chopped, chewed, or crushed. You do not get the benefits from the allicin when you use powdered garlic. But for the sake of time, if that's all you have available, then that's what you can use in this recipe. Next, I'm going to add our ground turkey. I'm using today a 93% lean, 7% fat, lean ground turkey breast. Feel free to use beef, ground chicken, or whatever you have in your freezer. So as we wait for this to saute, we can begin measuring out some of our other ingredients. I also like to add some black pepper. The recipe calls for a teaspoon. I like to add a little bit more. Italian seasoning. If you do not have any Italian seasoning, feel free to use a basil thyme blend. And I have about 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning and Worcestershire sauce, 1 tablespoon. And for a little kick, we're going to add a little bit of red pepper flakes. You can use as much as you'd like, or you can omit this. All right, now that our ground turkey has been browned, we're going to add our tomato sauce, 1 15-ounce can. And you can use either crushed tomato or diced tomato. Crushed tomatoes are going to add a little bit more of a sweet type flavoring. I'm using diced tomatoes today. One thing I love about this recipe is tomatoes have an antioxidant called lycopene, which is more potent when it's warmed up. And lycopene is an antioxidant that fights against prostate cancer. And now I'm going to add our pasta. Mix it all together. And you'll notice here that we have most of our food groups. We have our whole grain, our chickpea pasta, our ground turkey for our protein, and we have our tomatoes. I always like to add a little bit of flaxseed for the fiber, and extra bonus of omega-3 fatty acids. You can put this on a low setting and let it cook throughout the day. And that's actually what I'm going to do here. We'll cover it and we'll let it continue cooking. And for the sake of time, what I have here is our completed turkey hot dish. And for garnish, I'm going to add our onions or chives and a little bit of Parmesan cheese. That's a wrap for today's episode of Healthy Teaching Kitchen. Using the simplicity of an Instapot, we've embraced the hearty flavors of the Midwest to serve our veterans nutritious, budget-friendly meals. I'm Billy Smith, your trusted dietitian from the West Palm Beach VA healthcare system, committed to supporting the well-being of our nation's heroes. To all our veterans, thank you for your service and dedication. Remember, good health can be delicious and achievable. Until next time, stay strong and nutritious.